The many voices. Mr. Ian Cheeseman from Manchester City. Hello, right. Ian. And Steve Shanyaski joining us as well for 2 weeks on the trot.
I know, hello.
Are you off to sunny America soon?
I'm going to America soon. Go and see me mate. Going having a few days over there. This is purely on a jolly. I know every text he sent me is about getting absolutely smashed. Is all they can describe. Smash this, smash that. And I'm like, I'm 42, mate. My hangovers are 4 days old. Even if I get smashed one day, that's me for the rest of the weekend. Done.
What we're going to talk about today on the show, we want to obviously talk about Bolton fans saved from administration. We're trying to get a Bolton fan on, so if you want to give us a call, 0345 111 7625, relief, or is it just still confusion about how your club is being run at the minute? We'll be talking about the international break, sort of picking some stories up that you want to talk about. Also, the Champions League, could it be played outside of Europe? The Champions League final today being revealed. It could be held somewhere else. I'll tell you that location coming up. We've got Bands FC in the studio as well in the second section, talking about the musician and football combination that is at National Football Museum. Loads to talk about, including looking forward to the Premier League return as well.
Looking forward to club football.
Looking forward to club football. Oh
my Lord, please. How
has it been, Steve? You've been tired. You just want football back.
Do you know, I've been mowing the lawn. I've been doing the weeding, getting everything ready for autumn. And I've just not really. I couldn't invest. I invested my time and my passion into the World Cup. I don't feel this at all yet. I don't want to even watch England yet. I want to watch United getting rid of all these little creases and bumps they seem to be having already. And I will say we've got Watford coming up, and we're actually a little bit fortunate that they've played a few games, because had we played them in the first, second, or third game of the season, I reckon we would have got caught out. We would have been ambushed, is the way I think I could describe it.
He's only thought of that because he's been guarding all week about the ambush.
Why? You've been using my garden?
It's in your bush that's the problem.
For you, Steve, then, let's talk about Marcus Rashford scoring a goal again for England last night, 2-2. A lot of people then focus on Rashford. He does well under Southgate. Is it time for him to step up to Old Trafford, make sure he's in the first team for Manchester United? Can he do what he's doing for England for United this season?
United's problem, full stop, is the finishing. You know what? It doesn't matter what goes on in the rest of the pitch. When that ball and one-on-ones with Lukaku and Rashford, or any of them, the finishing is what is letting us down every single time. If Rashford is confident, and that's completely changed over 2 games for England, I think it's unlikely, but that would be great. But I really don't think it's likely. Our finishing is the issue. I still feel now we've not quite got that super killer striker that you need to win a Champions League or to win the Premiership or anything. I just feel that Lukaku just ever so slightly isn't quite up to the par of a great striker.
75 million anymore, dear.
You don't, mate. You don't get much for 75 million anymore.
Lukaku did score on the last night as well for Belgium. He's scoring. Does it give you a headache, or do you see the ability of Lukaku and Rashford being able to play together somehow?
That would be glorious, wouldn't it? If we had a partnership that sort of developed, and he's fast, but Lukaku, he's fast, but he's a strong, mighty player, and then him putting it to, say, Rashford cutting in at just an extreme pace, that would be a great partnership. But it's the finishing. Rashford, it's the post too many times for my liking. It frightens me.
For what you just described to happen, United have actually got to have an attacking philosophy. Don't you think that is at the root of the problem?
Well, that would certainly be part of the problem, yeah. But I don't know. I felt like the second game of the season, they were trying to shake off that strategy that had been most of the games last year against Tottenham. We could have really won that game. There was too many chances missed, and the way that they were playing was fast and counter striking sort of play, and completely opposite to what you're saying. So hopefully they're developing a new strategy, because I get the feeling, and everyone's saying it, all the press, a lot of fans, a lot of enemy fans as well, Mourinho's strategies are getting old and tired. Do you know what I mean? The other thing as well is he's got books out. Anyone playing him, just read the books. Read about what his philosophies are, and you learn everything you need to know. He needs to
start work.
He needs to just
the book.
Yeah, but Jamie Oliver's got a recipe book out, but just because you can read his recipe doesn't mean you can cook like him.
You totally can.
No, you can't.
You totally
No, you can't.
That's a bad example. That's a bad example.
It's not a bad example, is it? You're saying Mourinho's put out what his strategies are. Well, Jamie Oliver's put out what he puts into a pasta dish.
Listen, I've watched
doesn't mean you cook like him.
Cookery books. I've read them, and she teaches you how to boil an egg, and I've mastered that now perfectly, which proves that if you read the book...
Can you make foie gras?
No, but I can boil an egg perfectly. So it's just the same. And actually, United's football is about as complicated as boiling an egg anyway.
Oh, don't say that,
Stevie. And stay where it is.
But I'm telling you now, it does feel like the strategy is all a bit old and tired, and everyone can sort of second guess what he's up to and stuff. He's
a West Ham fan, by the
way. Anyone listening on the radio has not got a clue what's going on. But Joe's decided to blow stuff.
Some bubble. Sorry. So far.
It just feels like. I feel like he's trying now to really change a little bit of what's going on and play a much faster team. Well, we'll just have to see. We'll have to see. We've had a really staccato start to the season because great. We had Leicester won, then we had a terrible game against Brighton, then we had a terrible game against Spurs, but showed promise. And now international, and then ready, and then international break.
Maybe Mourinho will do better now after this break because he went for a little trip, didn't he? So maybe he'll be better now.
No, the video of Mourinho falling over.
That's the last thing you want
things
right now.
Ever see. Let's talk then about Man City. Nothing really as
boring.
Nothing. No stories. Everyone's come back without an injury, I suppose. I can't think of anyone that's picked up. Sane had a birth of his child, so all that kind of he's left the Germany squad, blah blah blah, sort of moved to one side. I think the question you asked Forever Blue was, did this break come for the right time for both Manchester clubs? Steve, I'll ask you and then I'll ask you, Ian. Did this break sort of come for the right time for Mourinho and Old Trafford? Did he need this sort of couple of weeks to sit back?
Look what's happened. We got Luke Shaw unconscious. Do you know what I mean? We didn't need that. I felt like we'd had a win. We'd had a win, and then we could start getting things back on track. Because we had a really bizarre, awkward start to the season. And then straight away international break, Pogba's starting being weird on his interviews and Twitter again and stuff like that. Let's get back to the football and let's get back to winning on that pitch because that's the only thing that matters. To me, I get really frustrated with all this Twitter activity that Man United seem to be more interested in than actually what's going on the pitch. We need to start winning every single game and becoming that great squad, which is why we're a multi-billion pound corporation because of what's gone in our history. We are a great club. Just at the moment, we just feel like we're thinking sideways instead of what the main thing is. We're just getting the League One and getting the Champions League one, or at least having a fair crack at it and not doing what we did against Sevilla.
FIFA released their shortlist for FIFA Pro this
By the way,
week.
Breaks come at a good time for City.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot completely.
Go on. Why?
Because they've had so many players that were away at the World Cup. They've not had a proper pre-season. This time, David Silva's not gone away. Sergio Aguero's not gone away. Laporte's not gone away. So there's a few players there who've perhaps had a little bit of a break, a much-needed break. And maybe, it seems bizarre to say after 4 games, but actually a chance for their players to do a little bit of late pre-season to get themselves right up to it. And from now on, it's the same with United, obviously. The games are going to come every 3 days, right through to the next international break. So you've got 2 legs of the Champions League and a League Cup tie in the midweeks between all the league games, then another international break, and then assuming that City and United stay in the League Cup, it continues on like that all the way till Christmas. So you've really got to be starting to do it now regularly, have that tempo, have that pace. And I think the break, for City anyway, my reading of it is that probably that break has come at the right time to have a little bit of a not a refresher, but a chance to get themselves ready for what's coming.
The 5th Pro World Cup shortlist for the best players on the planet, building up to the Ballon d'Or, was released yesterday. City have 3 in the list. Did you see the list?
I didn't.
No.
Okay, well, here's
a
new game that I've just came up.
Okay.
Can you guess?
Where's the music?
No music, because I thought you'd known all three, so I've not seen it. If I mentioned
how many have United got?
Silva.
Well, that's what I was going to say. If I mentioned that one defender was in it, who would you pick?
Otamendi?
He's not even played this season, so this is of the year.
This is of the year, so it will be including your Centurion.
Kyle Walker.
Defender, I'm guessing they might have gone for John Stones then.
Kyle Walker is correct from Steve. You've got two,
know your own team,
and you've only got
Cheeseman.
two midfield players, which means the headline for us is
Kevin
that
De Bruyne
no
and David
Sergio,
Silva.
Yeah, that's what I would have said, yeah.
no Sergio Aguero in the list, but it has come under fire as Lukaku was in the list for the 55-man shortlist. So you look at Lukaku from Manchester United, what he did, apparently he made more of an impression than Sergio Aguero to get into that shortlist of 55. You've got to question who came up with the shortlist. You've got to question why time and time again Sergio Aguero is just not looked upon.
I'm glad you're questioning it.
The talent of what he is.
I'm glad you're questioning
what do you agree? Do you think Lukaku should be there in front of Aguero?
I feel like I just need to quantify what I was saying before. It's the finishing. How do you finish? It's the finishing.
So now he's
but Aguero, but let me just cross-reference. Aguero, from what I've seen, when he gets the chances, executes like that, and I'm really surprised that they're both not in there and it's just Lukaku that's there. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say I'll pick one because I'll pick Lukaku, but
I won't make any comment on the £75 million United striker, but what I will say is that Sergio Aguero of course should be in there. He doesn't take every single chance, but he is pretty deadly, and I think he's improved a lot this year anyway in his team play under Pep Guardiola, and it staggers me that him and David Silva don't get more of these sorts of awards, etc., but they're also quite, believe it or not, quite modest type of players, undemonstrative players, and obviously there's a media agenda anyway against City, isn't there?
would you say? What are you thinking then, Steve, in terms of your shortlist? De Gea and Lukaku being the only United players in there. No one else really would stand out for you, do you think?
Not really, I guess. I mean, Ashley Young had a good season, didn't he? Lingard had a good season, but it's not enough to get into the top 50. What is it? The 50 in the world?
Yeah.
No, it's just, I totally agree. Really, it's been. We had a frustrating year last year. I just feel like, God, I hope we can sort of pull our socks up this year a bit more and compete. I'm hoping that, what's he called? Liverpool's main striker. He's not.
Salah.
Yeah, Salah. So if he's not, he doesn't feel like he's in form yet. And if he doesn't, because yes, last season was utterly incredible the way he played. It's not quite happened yet this season. And I'm hoping game on game that might be the case, because that might just be a spike in form. And if that's the case, Liverpool are never going to challenge for the title, because
we're going to get a big clue this weekend, aren't we? Because Tottenham play Liverpool.
Yep.
And if Liverpool go and win that game 5 out of 5 and winning against Tottenham at Wembley, it's at Wembley, isn't it?
Yeah.
Then you think, well, there's not going to be many people, even though most people have acknowledged that they will be in the title race, who are going to dismiss them now if they do that. So it's a big game at the weekend.
And they had the same result that we had against Leicester, so we're very similar in results so far. Yeah, obviously they've won, but
very similar. They've won 4. United have won 2 losses.
Yeah, but I mean like the big teams like that, and it will be a test.
We're going to have a chat about Bolton in a second, but Ryan's on the phone. Hopefully we'll have Daryl as well. We're going to speak to 2 Bolton fans who get their different opinions, but before that I just want to have a chat about the Champions League.
Where's it going?
I'll tell you where it's going. It could be going all the way to New York,
Give over.
The final.
Times Square.
And no Bands FC are in the corner. They're going to New York very, very soon for their exhibition. The Champions League final could be on its way to New York.
It was at the what's it called? Kit Kat Stadium, York City. Never mind taking it to New York. Take it to Old York. Keep it in this country. Not in this country, but keep it in Europe.
Keep it in Europe. I totally agree.
Come on.
Right, we're going to bring in Ryan now. Hello, Ryan is a Bolton fan. Ryan, are you well, mate?
Yeah, good mate, you all right?
Very well. I don't think you could tell you're from Bolton. Ryan, we want to chat about what's been happening to your club over the last 24, 48 hours. It's been a bit of a roller coaster ride. News coming out that you have avoided administration, but how's it felt being a Bolton fan for the last day or so?
Nothing changed really as a Bolton fan. We have go through the roller coaster of emotions for the last 10, 15 years really, but I think getting over it a couple of years ago, all the blue marble stuff, and since the Andersons come in, we felt like we turned a corner, and the start we've had to the season, I actually felt really optimistic, and as did a lot of the fans, but in the back of my head, I almost kind of felt like we probably would get out of it, because no club in 5 years has had that 12-point deduction. So, I mean, it was going to bed. I didn't sleep at all on Monday night. I read that tweet. I sent it to my dad and was like, oh, we're knackered, basically. But when I saw the stuff coming through from the chief news writer for Bolton, and we're just watching, he had like a live blog going, I think, on Twitter. Yeah, it was a lot to take in, but I kind of always thought we'd be okay, but it looked worrying. It did look really, really worrying. But I just thought, with Bolton, we should pull through this, and something will come out. So, but yeah, it was. I'll be honest. I did not sleep at all on Monday night. So, you just got to deal with it.
Yeah, I can imagine. I'll ask you some more questions. I just want to bring Daryl in, who's also a Bolton fan. Daryl, how are you doing, mate? Friend of XS. Thank you for joining us, Daryl.
Thank you, Joe. Hello, how are you?
I'm very well. So what the question was to Ryan then is, how did you feel over the last 48 hours of being a Bolton fan, the rollercoaster ride that was, the tweet that went out the other night, and now the sort of, okay, you've avoided administration, but is this the end of the story?
Well, Ryan will know, we're Bolton Wanderers fans, this is what we do. We're used to this kind of up and down. Right now, we've had years and years and years of this. It's been rocky, to say the least. It's been incredibly tense, incredibly worrying. It did feel at one point, particularly late Monday night, as Ryan says, into Tuesday morning. Similarly, saw that tweet late on Monday night, and saw the statement from Ken Anderson late Monday night and assumed the worst. Tuesday morning came around, and I think up until about 10:30ish, when we got the confirmation that there was a new deal on the table, it did look as though we were done for, and it was heartbreaking, utterly heartbreaking. But moreover, I think frustrating more than anything. Ryan talked about that amazing start that we've made to the season. We're 11 points in the bank. Wins away from home. Players playing out their skin. Manager absolutely delivering. He's worked miracles, done a wonder job over the past few years, never mind at the start of this season with a relatively weak squad. And then to have that all come crumbling down because of, frankly, bad business. Now, let's be honest about this. It's bad business. Bolton fans at the moment are pretty split on whether we should praise Ken Anderson or be criticising him and calling for him to leave the club, to walk away from the club. And I kind of sit somewhere in the middle, but probably more inclined to say that Ken Anderson's dealings over the past few years have left a lot to be desired. I think ultimately he's taken this down to the wire. He promised that this debt would have been sorted. He promised that this debt would have been paid off, and it was achievable. The repayment of this debt was achievable. And as it's come down to it, on the 11th hour, it isn't. Blue Marble have turned around and said that they were not happy with whatever proposal Ken Anderson made. He's then had to reach out and cobble some money together, which proves that he isn't financially capable of running the football club. Players, staff, coaching staff, the staff at the grounds, the people who run the club shop, the people who are coaching the kids at the weekend, they're going unpaid on a regular basis. It keeps cropping up. Pre-season, our players went on strike. They refused to play a game in Scotland on the basis that they hadn't been paid. I think it was 2 or 3 members of the team hadn't been paid bonuses that were due, and so the rest of the team went on strike with them. Ken Anderson issued a statement which left me frankly disgusted in the days afterwards, and he blamed the players. He put the responsibility for the cancellation of the match solely onto them, and called for them basically to get back in line. Carl Henry has been tweeting over the last couple of days that he has yet to receive. He was a midfielder that played for us last season. He's yet to receive bonuses. There are several former players.
I think what you're saying is, Darryl, there's a lot of trouble behind the scenes. I think what he wants to say something.
Both of you, I know, follow Mark Isles, Bolton News, and I know he's sort of basically the go-to person for Bolton Wanderers news. And according to the Bolton News, so that's coming from Mark, Bolton have a funding gap now over the next 12 months of £13 million. So whilst they may have avoided administration, that must be very worrying, because you're thinking if there's any players there that have got any value, come January, yes, the club have made a great start. Do you worry now that if that's going to roll out the way that Mark seems to think it will, that come the end of this season, despite where you are at the moment, there could be another relegation on the cards, and then it gets even harder to get your finances back in order.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that the bottom line is that Ken Anderson has done a lot to rework the financial structure of the football club in the last 18 months. But ultimately, he doesn't have the financial rights to own the football club. It's as simple as that. I think he is looking for a buyer, and I think that he is tried his best in certain places, in certain parts. But as you said, there is a funding gap, and as a football club, as a business, as any business that employs as many people as it does, that sits at the heart of a community in the way that Bolton Wanderers does, that is desperately worrying, and something has to give, something has to change.
Daryl, thank you very much, mate. I know it was last minute, but he came on there, and as a Bolton fan, it's hard work. That Ryan, for yourself, do you see the light at the end of the tunnel? Is things going to be all right?
Yeah, if we did what we did on the last day of the previous season, then, you know, performance and money, there's people out there with money to buy the club. That's the way I look at it. You've always got to see light at the end of the tunnel. And the slight difference and problem we've got this year, what someone just touched on then, was we probably don't have any assets. Realistically, the only person that we could sell in January to make any money off is Sammy Aniobi, but he's pushing on mid to late 20s. He's only got a 12-month deal, so we won't get any money for him. So we're going to have to do it through playing football, and I think the players know that. That's why we've had such a good start to the season. Being frank, I don't think we'll be anywhere near relegation, and I know that's bold, but I just think the players that he's got, there's no stupidly big earners that are picking up a pay packet and not delivering. All those players are now. It's a really good blend. So I do see like the tunnel. Yeah, there's a 13 million funding gap, but
you can do it. I can hear by your voice, Ryan. You're ready for it. You're ready for it. I think the two fans there, no one wants to see the club go through that. Daryl and Ryan, Bolton fans there. I'm going to Bolton with QPR on the weekend. My mate's birthday, so we're all going down there. Everyone wants to give me an old Bolton shirt. I'm an extra large. What are you laughing at? What are you like? Don't stop saying that.
Cheeseman
We got to go because thank you very much, Ryan and Daryl, for giving their time to access to talk about Bolton. We're going to be speaking to Bands FC. The man behind it is in the studio now with a smile on his face. We're going to have a little break and be back right after this.
This is the Manchester Football Social, the Wednesday Club.
Hello, my name is Joe McGrath. This is XS Manchester. Thank you for joining the Wednesday Club with Ian and Steve joining me. Passionate Bolton fans before that, thank you very much. If you're a Bolton fan, you want to have your say, you can always drop us a text 87711. We can be in touch with you. We have got a gentleman in the studio. The lovely Mark is here with us from Bands FC. Mark, thank you very much for joining us. How are you doing? You all right?
Yeah, you all right? Yes, I am fine. Thanks very much.
I'm very well. Oh, thank you for asking me. No other guests really asked me. Do you know what I mean? When I ask Ian and Steve how they're doing, they just say, yeah, I'm good. But you were kind enough to ask me back. Yeah, I'm doing all right, Mark.
Joe.
We worry about your health so much we don't talk about it anymore, to be honest.
Extra large shirt.
Bands FC, extra large. You can do a large in Primark. Bands FC, let's talk about that. Now, for people who don't know, and I'm sure you've been rushed off your feet because it is something that's just rocketed. Everywhere I look, Bands FC's there, and it can only be a good thing as it's bringing music and football together. So do you now, with all these interviews you've done, Mark, have an answer for what is Bands FC?
Well, we put it up as in the museum. As you know, museums have got loads of text about what's on display. We just summed it up in 2 lines. Bands as football teams as bands.
It's as simple as that, but as incredible as that. The gentlemen in the studio, Ian and Steve, are on Bands FC's website. If you've got the ability to get your phone out now and go on Twitter, etc., whilst you're listening to us, make sure you do. Bands FC on Twitter, you'll find it straight away if you search it. It's an incredible thing that's happening of bringing band logos and football crests together to create just pieces of art that
they're
everyone
fantastic.
does.
It's not just band logos, though. It is anything to do with the band. So it could be, it could just be something from an album cover or something that's related to the band's ethos or mood or anything.
Yeah, I think what's nice about it when your story is when you were getting the idea together was not just about the bands and the football. It was about when you were kids and when you panini stickers, and it was about quite the physical side of things when you were a kid, and the art and the visible side of things. Not just seeing 11 men running about on the pitch, but just
absolutely. I think so. When you're a kid at school, people asked me when I was like about 9 or 10, who do you support? And I didn't, and I picked Leeds for like a year because I liked the badge, right? And that was the reason. And I remember I had the England Admiral kit when I was at school because I liked it.
Yeah.
It wasn't really a supporting thing.
Yeah.
So I like the aesthetics.
We've gone on the website, and if there's anything that shows how we are divided as personalities, me and Cheeseman's drooled straight away over ABBA.
Can you explain the ABBA one? What is the ABBA one, Mark?
Well, it's a Swedish national badge. We released out during the World Cup when England were playing Sweden. We brought out an England badge, which was done as the lightning seeds.
Yeah.
To do that badge, we replaced the text of England with lightning seeds, and then the roses that are on the badge, we kept the 3 lines, but replaced the roses with 10 red strawberries. Strawberries are on their album Jollification, and actually a nice thing since that, last weekend we actually had the shirts made up at the band's request, and they wore them on stage for us.
Mega.
Well, not just for us, for
maybe
everyone.
ABBA's new Tory, and they might be seeing Bands FC shirts knocking about.
Listen, if I've got one of them shirts, I'd wear it.
Get one of them.
Cheeseman went for ABBA, I went for Aphex Twin, the acid electronica.
Aphex Twin. Then moving on to the start of the story. So you got together with a gentleman called Nick, and this idea formed. What the idea to create football and music logos, should you say? What was the first one you did?
The first one we did was Echo and the Bunnymen.
Okay.
I did that because they're my favourite band, and I've been massive fan since I was at school, and it just seemed the right one to do. I could see it straight away in my head, replacing on their logo, on their club crest, you've got the liver bird. Replace that with what the Bunnymen use. It's kind of like bunny god thing.
Yeah.
Replace You'll Never Walk Alone with a line from The Killing Moon, Fate Up Against Your Will. And in the kind of ironwork on the top, I hid kind of like The Killing Moon and 2 horses representing Bring On the Dancing Horses.
Oh, my God.
So just hiding things sometimes. They're not all that complicated. Some are really simple and obvious, and they all connect in different ways. But that's how that one started, the first one.
It's funny because last night on Forever Blue, we had an artist on who was talking about this dream scene picture, and it wasn't just a case of painting individual players. It was about that type of detail that you're talking about, putting little sort of quirky things in.
We put details in on some of them that not everyone sees. You came to the exhibition.
Yeah, my favourite one is
carpets.
the Spiral Carpets one, which I'll let you tell.
Okay.
The detail in it is lovely.
Well, there are obvious things straight away. There's an owl on there with like the eyes of the cow that the Spiral Carpets use. But I think on the original band it says AFC. We'd change that to FAC. It stands for it's to CAF. Sorry, cool as football, we like to say. And then, but hidden in the feathers are the band members and the word moo. No, you haven't spotted that.
I didn't spot it, but also the lovely gesture is the stars across the top. And one of them being black for Craig Gill as well, which is just do you know what I mean? Like, you can just take these badges and you can sit and you can analyse them so long. The big ones for us are the Manchester City and the Manchester United ones. So I think the obvious one, who's got the Manchester City connection there? What have you done with that?
Well, we went with Oasis. I think we had to, on some of those clubs, we went with real allegiance. That that was an obvious.
So what about, is it Stone Road? Is that Manchester?
Yeah, if you click on the S on the website there, and if you're watching or again S, no, you got to go for Oasis, and that'll show you the Manchester City badge. Make sure you go to the website bandsfc.com and then click on S to see the Stone Roses and Manchester United one. Was there ever a band or a badge that was a struggle for you to connect with somewhere?
Taylor Swift, someone like that.
It's not a band, is it?
It should be band.
The Taylor Swift band.
Yeah, what about the Pussycat Dolls? What was there ever one that was hard to connect to a football badge, or was one that took more work than others?
Some have took a lot of work. I think the Beatles one, we knew there was pressure on with that, and we didn't want to be obvious and do Liverpool, right? So we put it off for a little bit, and then we discovered that do you know what the Okay, nicknames of teams has been a really big thing I've liked looking at, and the nickname for Villarreal is, do you know? Yellow Submarines.
So come on, there's nothing better. What a great league.
Makes you think, doesn't it? This started as just, I'm guessing, just a hobby, a thing to do. It's taken a life of its own.
It has.
What's happening now, and what's next for Bands FC?
Well, the exhibition is on for 11 weeks, and it opened on Friday, and that's at the National Football Museum, and it's free. So come along. We're adding new things to that every day. Something new went in today, which is a Radiohead shirt. So the badges are being made into some shirts for exhibiting in the museum. But we've had the go-ahead from the band Pulp to create the Sheffield Wednesday Pulp mix-up thing to raise money for charity. Yeah. So that's happening. I think we've announced that yesterday or today, and that's just kind of getting going.
Amazing.
Other things that are going on, well, we've got quite a few exhibitions coming up. It does go to New York, like you said. Mm-hmm. So that all the exhibitions are on the website if you want to have a look at where it's going. Yeah. We've got a one-day thing locally in, I think it's November, to Salford Lads Club.
Perfect.
Then it goes in January to the British Music Experience in Liverpool. And actually Mexico City. You would never imagine this. The British Embassy over there were looking for something culturally that linked music and football to
I wonder what they could pick.
A new kind of they'd redone the metro or the rail system or something there, and they wanted to have something to show off British arts, culture, football, and somebody went, check out this Bands FC. And so they're having a display.
Is Manu Chao from Mexico? That's an amazing... No, they're an amazing band. They're an amazing Manu Chao. Are they from Mexico? You should
I think they are, yeah.
You should get Manu Chao.
You don't tease me, mate. Manu Chao, an amazing band, but they probably aren't from Mexico. But have a look. Maybe try and make one for a Mexican one when you're over there.
I've got a book here with...
Not one up.
Millions in, so you can remind me afterwards and I'll write it in.
Okay. Yeah, mate. For you... When you sit back and you watch this, you're coming on, you're doing interviews, you're on Northwest tonight, you're on Premier League TV, you're doing all this. Did it take off how you thought, or has it all just been a bit too much?
It's very surreal.
I bet it is.
Of course it is. The most surreal thing is I'm on a football show. Right.
I think that every time I come in.
Sometimes when you answer one of my questions, Steve, I think that as well. When is it finished then? So make sure people go to the National Football Museum.
Yeah.
When is the closing? When are they closing down?
Well,
mid-November.
Yeah, it is mid-November 22nd, something like that. It's on for 11 weeks.
Perfect. Mark, thank you very much for coming in. Before we ask that, we're going to ask these gentlemen here. The question we put to them is if they could take a musician and put them in their football team, who would it be and why? Steve, I'm going to play yours and then you're going to tell us why.
Dirty old town. Dirty old town.
Who is going in your team?
Would you not want as a striker breathing down your neck? Shane McGowan in defence. He's the full-back. He's the last thing between you and the goals, and he's running at you full pelt. I mean, it's unlikely he's going to run, but you'll have to go towards him, to be honest with you. But just even that face, that boat race in front of you, he'll give you the fear.
George Jordan reincarnated in your teeth in the middle.
Makes Pete Beardsley look sexy cute.
And Ian Cheeseman. What is this?
Style panache. It's the orchestrator, the man in the middle, like Pep, you know, who looks after the team and makes pulls all the strings. And this is Andre Rieu with his...
Andre Rieu.
The founders of XS are turning the graves. Andrew, what's he called?
Listen, if he could go for Beth Tweddle and play in the United team, which he did a couple of weeks ago, Mr. Steve Shanyaski.
What's this guy called?
Andre Rieu.
Now, is he...
It's quite nice, actually, isn't it?
I thought he was an opera singer.
It sounds like a footballer, doesn't it?
He does sound like
a better one. If you're going to go opera singers, you want Pavarotti in net. Ain't no way you're getting past that. No way at all.
Mark, thank you very much. Stephen, Ian, stay there, because coming up after this little break, we're going to be talking about the Premier League. It is back in action. We're also going to be announcing our wonderful Wednesday Club phone. It is being delivered to us, and we are so happy that it's here because it's taken us forever. We'll be right back after this.
XS Manchester. This is the Manchester Football Social, the Wednesday Club.
Hello, my name is Joe. This is XS Manchester. Thank you very much for listening. The Wednesday Club in its final section. It's been a wonderful show today. If you're just tuning in, you missed any of it. We had a chat about Marcus Rashford earlier, as well as where the Champions League could be played in the future. And speaking to Bolton fans about the fact they've sort of avoided administration, but you don't know what's going to happen to you, Ian. Ian is eagerly wanting to say something.
Don't forget your phone, Joe.
I won't forget my phone.
That's
the Wednesday
what I
Club
wanted to say
phone we'll announce that right after we speak to our Team of the Week. Still not got a jingle for our Team of the Week.
It is a jingle for the phone later on.
Yes, I do, mate.
When we spoke to that poor lad from Bolton, and you came in like the talisman of death, telling them, "I've just read that by the end of the season, you'll have a deficit of £13 million pounds."
If you didn't hear the Wednesday Club with the Bolton callers,
I'm a
Ian
journalist,
just came in,
not a comedian,
killed their hopes and dreams. Team of the Week is very simple. It is where we take a team from around our the northwest area, or it can be Great Manchester, etc., and we shine a bit of light on them, take away from the Premier League clubs and the rich clubs. The rich clubs can't, apart from Bolton, so they can be our Team of the Week next week if they want. And we get them on the phone and we just have a chat with them. We've got Matthew from West Didsbury and Chorlton AFC. Matthew, good evening, mate.
Good evening. Hiya.
Are you well, Matthew?
Yeah, wonderful, yeah.
Tell us then.
To you.
Oh, thank you. We get nice people on the phone, don't we?
That's how you are.
Yeah, I sound very well. West Didsbury and Chorlton AFC. Tell us about them, when they were formed, and what you get up to in the club.
Well, they were formed 1908. Toured around in the Manchester League, so most of it before about 10 years ago. They got up to being on the football pyramid. It's about 5 years ago I got involved. I'm on the committee. I help with the social media and marketing, and just do, like everybody does in non-league, just do a lot of odd jobs everywhere to make sure things keep ticking over.
I think that's what comes across with these Team of the Weeks. There's a lot of grafters in the team. Everyone's got to pick up a bit of a job and do this and do that. Where do you play then, Matthew?
They'd never have me on the team.
Oh no, sorry, I meant whereabouts. Not like what position. I mean, like whereabouts the West Didsbury play. I didn't think you were centre back.
Oh God, no. No, we play Chorlton, just off Beach Road in Chorlton. South Manchester, just by the River Mersey. It's a lovely little ground, Brookburn Road.
Is it just a senior team, or is it youth teams?
We've got senior teams, we've got women's teams, youth teams all the way down to year one, as far as I know. So it's fairly big operations, a lot going on.
Matthew, did you say you've been going since 1908, or did I mishear that?
The club's been going since 1908. So
Matthew's clearly not been going since Matthew 08.
Yeah, clearly. But what's the highest position you've ever made in the club history?
It's about 2 years ago when we came sixth in the Northwest Counties.
Oh, right. And you became famous, because I've been doing some research on this, for this wonderful chat right here.
Hummus, 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 quinoa, 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 quinoa.
Do you remember that, Matthew? Were you one of the voices singing that?
You what, sorry?
Were you one of the voices singing that, champ?
Yeah, I was going to say, you can hear my horrible drunken voice in that if you listen closely.
It got picked up by the Manchester Evening News, didn't it? The chant, the West West Didsbury chant. Who started it?
Well, it started there was one, because we didn't have much sport till about 5 years ago, because as I said, it's mainly an amateur club playing in the Manchester League. So it's about 5 years ago we started getting proper sport, and then there was one away game where we were playing FC United away in the Manchester Premier Cup, and that night seems just to spawn, because everybody had been on the drink since work, and that night seemed to spawn about
Did
10,
that
15
chant?
different chants.
Did that chant start after they'd gone chips are great, mushy peas, and then you went, oh, we're confident that.
You're looking
We've got
after
a bit of hummus here.
Good job I didn't start chanting that game. It would have been disastrous. West Didsbury against Charlton, sorry. You got on your Twitter is WD_CFC. Is there anywhere else people can get in contact with you, mate?
Yeah, on Instagram, Facebook, the website, WDCFC. Yeah, and if anybody wants to come down, the next game's like the 22nd of September against St Northwich. We've got a few celebrity fans. You're talking about Rashford before he was down to 2 weeks ago.
Oh, you might be seeing Rashford.
Picking up some tips, mate. That's what it is.
Picking them out to finish. Matthew, thank you very much. Go check out the Twitter page. Right. Now let's move on. Thank you very much, Matthew, by the way. They're still going. Now they've stopped. Matthew, there's our Team of the Week. If you want to be involved in Team of the Week, you can always get us on XS Manchester Twitter. Just send us a little tweet and we can sort that out for you. I want to introduce our Wednesday Club
You remembered
phone.
it.
Oh, wow.
So, us here at XS Manchester and the Wednesday Club, we have paid £3.50 for a phone. And it made it look
This could either
very
be
dodgy.
the worst or the best idea in radio history.
This phone is available for you to ring whenever you like. You can call it...
Has it got a jingle?
No jingle, no. You can call it night or day. No one will pick up, but you will be sent straight to voicemail.
Yeah.
What you should do in that voicemail is you should leave us any message you want. Keep it clean.
And
no rude ones.
try and make it about football.
Try and make it about football.
After a game,
if
maybe.
you've got a question for Ian, say, or a question for Steve, or if you want
question for Joe.
or a question for me. Thank you.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm very well. Or a question about
What's your
football in
shirt size,
general.
Joe?
Extra,
like that.
extra large in Primark. Used to be large in Primark.
What time of year do you put your heating on? Are you warm? Are you warm all year?
Or what do you do when you've only got 3 minutes left of the show? You're trying to fit more in than this. This is all you can do on the Wednesday Club phone. Right, so I'm going to read out the number, but, however, you will be able to find it on Facebook and Twitter, the number for you to call whenever you want. 07503 436 153.
Trips off the tongue easily, that.
Oh.
Memorable numbers. Like
Oh,
those
God. As soon as I got the phone, I thought that is the world's hardest number. 07.
PI number.
Listen, I'm trying to read it out for the second time. 07503 436 153. That number will be on our website, it'll be on our Twitter page, it'll be on our Facebook, so you can just call it whenever you want. The thing is, no one might call it, and it's a waste of £3.50. But you know what? People could call it, and it'd be the best
Next
thing.
time I am on one of those PPI websites and they put your phone number in.
Oh,
you know.
don't.
That's gonna be the number, innit, eh?
Don't.
Don't do that.